Welcome, everybody. We are here tonight talking about thriving through the holidays. Some of you may feel like you're not thriving yet. And so we're going to talk through that. Welcome. And we've shared a poll with you. I don't know if you can see, I think at the bottom of your screen, you should be able to see a button that says polling. And we want to hear, we want to personalize this webinar for you. So we want to hear what your top goals are for this holiday season. And we're going to be talking through those as we go.
So we're glad that you guys are here.
Yes.
And we look forward to tonight. This is going to be a good time. So who are we? You're probably wondering to yourself, who are these guys? So my name's Jim Miller. This is my amazing wife, Amy. And together we are Three Life Essentials. Our goal is to help people in all areas of wellness of their lives to be the very best that they can be. And so we are a husband and wife team. We're a father and mother team. We've got 3 little kids that are, the Rugrats are taking over the world so far in our lives. And so we're excited to be here with you on the wellness journey. And
I'm going to bump that up there so we can see your face a little bit better.
There we go. Keep those off too. That'll help.
So a little bit about what our intentions are tonight. We hope to be able to make this somewhat of an interactive time tonight, and really just kind of walk through what we ourselves have experienced as stressors during this holiday season, as well as what we hear from others around us. And so our intention tonight is not to necessarily give you all the answers, because we don't have all the answers, but to give you some tools maybe that to add to your tool belt of ways that you can do a little bit more than just survive through the holidays, but actually thrive.
We're not coming to you as experts, but we deal with it too. We deal with the stress of the holiday season as well. And so we're just fellow journeyers with you guys trying to make it through another holiday season. So what about you guys? What are your biggest concerns during this holiday season? So what are the things that cause you guys to have some struggles? If you guys check out the poll, so is it staying well, getting along with your family, getting out or staying out of a funk, traveling with less stress, saying no to more, giving more, simplifying your life? So there are a lot of different things that could be concerns that we'd each have during the holiday season. I know for a lot of folks, it's just family, just pure and simple family. And so I want you to think about what your concerns are. And tonight, as we go through, we're going to try to address each of the concerns that you guys bring up and make sure that we're touching on all those so that you can leave here with a tool, something that can help you on your journey and maybe give you a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel.
So we've kind of already touched on this, but what are your goals this holiday season too? Like we talked about on the flip side of that, the positive side of that, the goals for this holiday season, maybe it's to stay well. Maybe it's to stay out of a funk, or to have some good relationships with your family and get along with them. Maybe it's to simplify. Maybe it's to give more. Maybe you want to, in this season of giving, to be giving more. And so we want to hear what your goals are for this holiday season. And you're welcome to, in the bottom of the screen here, you should see a little button that says chat. And you're welcome to share. In fact, we invite you to share and comment what some of your goals are, or to participate in the polling that we're doing as well. Okay, so one of the top ones that we hear.
Well, first we want to ask the question, so what does the word thrive mean to you? So when we say thriving through the holidays, for a lot of different people, that might mean something totally different. But we want to make sure that we understand that thrive is compared to survive. You know, we're not trying to survive the holidays. We're trying to thrive through the holidays. And so when you think of the word thrive, what conjures up in your mind? What images are conjured up in your mind about thriving? What does it look like to do more than just to make it, but to make it with some gusto, and to make it a great holidays that you can remember fondly for years to come? And so we want to do more than just survive, in the famous words of the song. We want to do more than just survive.
I want to be more than a survivor.
Yes, totally.
I want to be a thriver. So Jim already mentioned this, but this is one that we hear a lot and that we experience a lot as a common stressor: family. Whether it's our own immediate family or our extended family, or the lack thereof. All of those can be common stressors for us during this season, because this season is a little bit more about family than other times of the year. And people are talking about spending time with family and being with family. And so whether you have maybe strained relationships with a family member, or have no relationship with family members, this can be a really big stressor in thinking about the time that you're spending with them, or the time that you're not spending with them, or the gifts that you're giving with them, or what is Aunt Sue going to say this year to me. Those can all be big stressors.
Yeah, and so, and I think one of the ones that's closest to my heart this year is just the idea of the family members that aren't here. We have several friends that have, in the last year, have lost loved ones. We have some friends that have lost their dad, have friends that have lost husbands, have a friend that lost his daughter, his 9-year-old daughter this year. And so as these holiday seasons approach, and most people are excited, and they're excited about presents and the kids and the family and travel and all these amazing things, there are a lot of folks that are just dreading it, because this is going to be their first Christmas without a person that is extremely important to them, maybe even divorce. And so there are a lot of things about family that can be really difficult things to work through. So what are some of the things that we would say could be helps with the family? What are some things that we could look at?
Well, I would think the first thing, just the simple act of gratitude. And it seems kind of silly, or kind of like, duh, or how could that really help? But I think it's sometimes some of the simple things that can really make a big difference, especially if we start now, before the actual holidays. I mean, I know Thanksgiving has already come, but Christmas has not yet arrived. New Year's has not yet arrived. And so starting now, preparing ourselves for the time when it may even get more difficult, whether it's not spending time with family, spending time with family, all of those stressors. And sometimes even some simple acts of spending 2 or 3 minutes at night or in the morning time, jotting down the things that we're grateful for. I think there's even been some studies done that show that simple act of gratitude and writing down and dwelling on some things that we're grateful for can really go a long way in shifting our mind off of some of those stressors with family members. What else would you say?
Yeah, so I would say the gratitude is a huge one. This is one of the ones that like Amy mentioned, the studies about the effects that gratitude has on us, on our brains, is tremendous. And so when we look at the idea of gratitude and what it means to us, then it's very important for us in order for us to move forward in a lot of different areas. Now, you may say, well, if you knew my family, you would understand that I can't have gratitude about that. Or if you knew what I was dealing with, then you would understand why gratitude isn't something that I could come by. But in every situation, there's gratitude. And so I heard somebody mention this, so I can't claim credit for it, but even if you had the worst parents in the world, or if your brother was an absolute nightmare and did some terrible things to you, then you can have gratitude that those horrible events, or those horrible parents, or those horrible situations have strengthened you and made you a person that recognizes those as awful and is striving to do better. And so we can give gratitude to that. You know what? That person was terrible in my life, and I'm so grateful that they have shown me how not to be that kind of person. Or if you lost a loved one, then you could have gratitude that you were able to spend, for my friend who lost his 9-year-old daughter, you can look at the idea that I'm so grateful that God gave me 9 years to spend with this beautiful girl, and that my life has never going to be the same because of the time that I got to spend with her. And so we can find gratitude in all of these different areas and these things that we're looking at. It's not going to be easy. We're not saying it's going to be easy, but this is definitely something that can be transformative, not only just in our heart and in our mind, but just in the way that we live our lives out. So it's a very hard thing, but I think something that Amy said also is really important, that it's a muscle that has to be exercised. You can't just wake up Christmas Day and go, all right, well, today I guess I'm going to get this thing started and expect to see an immediate result. Now, I will tell you this, that if you truly invest yourself in it, then you will have an immediate result. But it's something that will be developed over time. And saying that as well, it reminds me of the fact that when you're grateful for something, you need to put yourself in that moment. So rather than being grateful for the roller coaster over there, and man, isn't that cool looking? Put yourself in the front seat in that first car and go on that roller coaster ride and be grateful for it. So put yourself in the moment and in the emotion of it, and ride that out and be grateful for those things in the moment that it happened. So gratitude is huge. It's really an important one. And it's something that we really need to practice as well.
Okay. Money. Raise your hand if that is a stressor for you, or comment in the chats if that is a common stressor for you.
I've got so much money, I just don't know what to do with all of it. It's coming out my ears, and I'm just trying to figure out that's probably not the stress most of us are dealing with, if I'm not mistaken.
Whether it's, I forgot to give that person something, and maybe you didn't budget that, or maybe there is no budget. And whatever the stressor is, or, I over budgeted, or I overspent, which is really common. When I hear the statistics about how much people overspend typically during this time frame, because maybe they're trying to one up their neighbor, or whatever it is, this is a very common stressor during the holiday season. And so, I don't know, my notes over here are missing. So here's some potential helps for you with this stressor. My first word would be simplify. Yeah. This has actually been a common or a kind of overarching theme that has just been a real prompting in Jim and my lives separately and collectively over the past 2 years. We have really, just in our hearts and in our spirit, really have kept hearing God saying to us that we need to simplify, and didn't really know what that looked like for a long time. Now we're starting to see a little bit more about what that means, but whether it means that this holiday season, maybe you're making your gifts. There have been many years that I've made gifts, or whether it's just that you're wanting to give cards this year. Many people, their love language, that means the language maybe that speaks most to them, is words of affirmation. And so sometimes the best gift that you can give someone is to tell them in a card with words how much you appreciate them and what they mean to you. And if you struggle with that, that's actually an area I don't express words of affirmation very easily. So if that's something that's a struggle for you, you can even go Google online, like positive words, inspirational messages, that can help you share what you really feel about the people in your life that you want to give to. And so there's ways that you can lessen that stress with money. And I think the more that you ask God to show you how to simplify, you will feel less of a need to one up your neighbor and lessen your need to necessarily have something on the outside that portrays what the holidays are, and really portray that from the heart. I don't know if that makes sense, but
that's good.
I'm saying that.
I remember there was one year that we were really struggling financially, and so Amy's birthday and Christmas are really close to each other. Her birthday was just a couple of days ago, and Christmas is a couple of weeks away. And so I didn't know what to do. And I was kind of at a loss because I want to take care of my wife and I want to provide for her and show her how much I love her in different ways. And so, but I didn't have any money to spend on a gift. And so I, I just, I did this really dumb thing that I was like, I don't know how this is going to go over. It's probably going to be a huge flop. And she's going to be so disappointed in her husband. And I can't wait to hear how this goes. But so I just made a coupon book. And inside that coupon book, I wrote things like, I'll give you a back rub. I will, I'll paint your nails. I will take care of the boys for you one day and let you go out and have a day to yourself. And so I just made a coupon book and filled out all these things out. And it didn't cost me a penny, but it was something that she really enjoyed, and it really meant a lot to her. And so we can find there are different creative outlets that we can use, different ways. And you can Google this as well. This is another one that our friend Google can help out with. What are some inexpensive or free gifts that I can give to friends of mine? And a lot of these different kinds of things will pull up and give you opportunities to do. So
I love that you mentioned that, because speaking of love languages, words of affirmations is not one of my love languages. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, you can also Google 5 love languages, take the test, and it will help you know how you receive love best and how you can share love with other people. But what is a love language that really speaks love to me is quality time and acts of service. And that coupon book that he gave to me, even though it didn't cost him anything, financially, it cost him time and serving me, and that was huge. That spoke love to me even more than some shiny gift. So those are some ways that you can kind of deal with the stressors with that. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Travel.
Everybody else is like, just for me to get out the door with my 3 boys is ridiculous. So the 2 places we went today, we were late both places because one of my kids can't buckle his seatbelt. And that's just running errands around town. So much less actual holiday travel, and how frustrating that can be, especially with your little ones.
The packing, the planning, the routing, the
bad weather, airport,
all of that,
delays and closings and everything else that's on top of it, eating awful food and getting hungry. So all of these different things are just really difficult. And so travel can be a really difficult one.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the helps for this. It helps to be prepared.
How many of us are like,
duh. Okay. How do I do that? Okay. I know one of the things you mentioned was trying to download plenty of entertainment for the ride, whether that's books or whether you've got tablets for kids or music, some kind of entertainment for the ride and the travel time. Packing snacks ahead of time. That makes a huge difference. I know for us, if we just are prepared enough to think ahead of time and pack snacks. Leaving in plenty of time. That's one that we still are working on.
I lie to my family members. I'm just going to confess that on this webinar, that I lie to my family members about what time we have to be places sometimes, because I want us to leave in a timely manner. And if something starts at 2, I might tell my family members it starts at 1:30 to get us out the door at a decent time.
It seems to take forever to get out the door.
So I'll say, kind of on that note, to tag team with the first part that you mentioned, is downloading electronic things. One of our best new friends has become Audible, and we have 3 boys. They're 8 and 5 and 5, and they love adventures and they love adventure stories. And we just introduced them to the book series, The Chronicles of Narnia, which you can get on Audible. And so it's not a movie that they would watch, but it's a book that you would listen to. And they are eating it up. And we're talking about 5-6 books that are 2 hours each, 2.5 or 3 hours of auditory, entertainment. And it's something that at any point we throw it in, and whenever we turn it off, they go, "Dad, Dad," and they get mad. And so this is just finding books that your kids would enjoy, things that they could listen to, is going to be a huge advantage and a huge help in any situation, especially in the car. It gives them something to do.
Is there anything else you wanted to say about driving or flying?
Yeah, so I know that there's also
some tools too. Go ahead.
Some websites that we found that talk about different games that you can play while you're in the car. And so if you've ever been on road trips with your family, raise your hand if you've ever played the license plate game or the alphabet game, and you can look those up and find different ways to play those online. But I found one that had like 97 different games that you can play with your kids in the car. And some of them were just brilliant little, so inventive, but so simple, just different little things that you could do with your kids that would help keep them occupied and keep the time moving along, because really the boredom is the thing that gets to them, and if you can keep them occupied in some way, then that's going to be super helpful.
Yeah. So, and then also be prepared and don't forget your oils.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you the times that we have traveled someplace and I think, oh, I forgot. Well, the first couple of times it was, I forgot I don't have any oils. And inevitably there was always a need for something, whether it was somebody had digestive issues when you're traveling. That's always a common thing, that when you're traveling, if you're eating foods that aren't, typically what you're eating, or you're eating too much, or you're exposed to something when you're traveling, whether it's on an airplane or whatever, and so you're not feeling well, there's always been a need for our oils. So I now actually bring all of our oils in little small bottles so it doesn't take up much space.
Mm-hmm.
But some definite must-haves that you want to have on hand. And even if you don't use oils, this is a time that you're going to want to connect with somebody who's helping you, your wellness advocate, with us, because you want to get connected and make sure that you're prepared ahead of time, because especially it seems that things always seem to happen, whether it's sickness or whatever it is, that it always seems to happen when you're nowhere around a place where you could get help. And we love it because 99% of the time we have every tool that we need for any kind of an emergency, anytime, right in our home. Yeah. So things to make sure to definitely have on hand is your On Guard Plus soft gels. This is a blend of oils in a little capsule that you can take, and this is the kind of thing that you want to have on hand for when someone's been exposed to illness, or if someone while you're gone is not feeling their best. This is what you want to be taking. Also, I mentioned those tummy issues that you have that are unexpected when you're eating foods that you're not typically used to eating. You want to have the digestive blend of essential oils that you can either rub on your stomach at the time, or you can put in a little capsule and take it internally that way. That way you can settle things quickly, especially if you're flying. I like to have these, the On Guard beadlets with me. The little tiny, it's a little bitty 1/3 drop of essential oil in, you probably can't even see this, but in a tiny little beadlet form. And I like them because they're nice and portable. I can stick them in my pocket, and you can just pop them in your mouth. This will help keep your immune system strong, especially when you're breathing in that recirculated air of everybody's germs and everything. Will help your immune system stay supported during this time, because if one of the things you're wanting to do during the season is stay well, this is helpful for that. Also, I mentioned the tummy troubles. You'll also want to have your Terrazyme, which are digestive enzymes that you take with meals. This will help break down those foods, especially those heavier meals that you're not typically used to eating, or those other meals that maybe are not quite as healthy. You want to help your body to break down those. Just some emotional support. I know this was huge for me the last time we were traveling, getting ready for the airport as you were running behind and you're frazzled. The Peace Touch blend, it's a blend of some calming oils that really just kind of help take the edge off of those anxious feelings and help you grab a hold more of those emotions. And then I meant to mention this when we were talking about our family too, but also the Forgive blend. This is huge, especially this time of year when we're needing to either forgive ourselves or forgive somebody else in relationships. And this can really help promote some more positive feelings. And I like to just put it right on my wrists, my pulse points. behind my ears. Believe it or not, essential oils actually can impact our emotions. I know it sounds crazy, but they can. Mm-hmm. So definitely you want to have those on hand while we're traveling as a help.
I'd also mention this is a little spray that's the On Guard spray, and basically this is a little hand sanitizer in a bottle. When we take the kids places, we talk about putting our gloves on. On Guard kills all the bad things. And so you spray it on your hands, rub your hands together, and then it's going to protect your hands against all those germs. And because it's an essential oil, it's not going to strip away all of the oil that's already on your hands. And so it's going to strengthen that barrier on your hands instead of washing it away, which a lot of hand sanitizers would do.
Yeah, and good news, you can take this on your carry-on if you're traveling, if you're flying, because it's smaller than the ounce, the limit. So, okay. Another common stressor, stress, just this depressed mood. In fact, we had a friend just recently tell us that every year between Thanksgiving to January, she is in this depressed state. And, part of this is that seasonal affective disorder, yeah. Maybe is that what it's called?
SAD.
When we have less of the sunlight that's coming in, that's helping us have that uplifted mood. But then, a lot of times it's also what Jim was talking about earlier. Maybe you've lost a loved one this year, or maybe it wasn't even this year, but it just comes and resurfaces during this time of year because this is when we were spending time with that person. Whatever the stressor is, it's kind of creating this depressed mood or stress state. It's troublesome at this time of year.
And just to kind of take some of the curve of that away, I want to make sure that we all understand that this is a physiological thing. It's not just a mental thing. So the seasonal affective disorder, the SAD, it's not just people that are just kind of down in the dumps that can't get themselves over the hurdle. There's scientific reasons behind that. The lack of sunlight affects our cells, and it affects the receptors in our brain, and all of those things together, all of that combined causes us to go mentally into a funk. And so it's not just people that just can't, just get your act together. It's not just getting your act together. It's not as simple as that. There are a lot of things behind that. And so finding ways to get sunlight, to make sure that you're out in the sun, that you are earthing is one of the things that we talk about doing sometimes. That take your shoes off and go stay in the grass during the day, during the daytime. And there are a lot of different things that can help to curb the difficulty with this, supplementing your vitamin D. Just a lot of different things that could be helpful.
Yeah. So some helps with this, obviously, if there are some difficulties with this that are interfering with your daily life, with your work and your family situation, we encourage you to seek out a health professional, a counselor, psychologist, to help you kind of work through some of these things. But these are some some tools that you can add to your tool belt during this time as well. Jim, you want to share some things?
Yeah. So the idea that I think for a lot of guys, especially going to a counselor or finding some professional help would be would look down upon. You might think of a person that's doing that as weak, but in the times that I've gone to seek out some help, you can seek it out professionally if you really are in need. But there's also just the idea of having somebody to be accountable with, a person that you can go to, that you can talk to, whether it's a friend, whether it is a person that from your church, maybe that you might be able to reach out to. I know even there are a lot of Christian radio stations in a lot of the bigger towns around the country that have a prayer line, a line where you can call and speak with somebody completely anonymously that will listen to the thing that you're talking about, will listen and hear your heart, and would be happy, just so happy to pray with you and to pray over you and ask the Lord to help you through a difficult situation. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of different things that you can do, just having somebody to go to. But then I think in addition to like a physical person, having a partner of a tool, of a resource that you can go to as well.
Yeah, I'll share some of those. And like Jim said, if you can just give permission to someone to help you um, through that process, to pray for you, to listen to you, to give you some of that perspective. But some tools that we like to use in addition is an app called Headspace. And it helps you through the practice of mindfulness. And what this is basically a time for you to just shift your mind from focusing on all of the depressing things, all of the chaos, and focus it on where your body is in space, breathing. So much of what we do, we don't spend time in the present anymore. We spend so much time either dwelling on the past, which is actually
I was thinking that right now.
What was shared with us this weekend at church by a counselor. She talked about how your time spent dwelling in the past is where we end up with depression, and time spent worrying about the future is where we end up with anxious feelings. And so if we can spend time in the present, and also not only spend time in the present, but spend time in the quiet present. Sometimes I think about this. How many of you think, I don't even know when the last time it was silent around me, except for when I'm sleeping maybe. And sometimes not even that, right? So if you can spend some moments having someone guide you through just spending time in the quiet, you guys, research shows that this can actually change your brain, like physiologically change the synapses that are happening in your brain, and can reset your mind in a different way, on a different track than it was before. Mm-hmm. And so, that can even take 5 minutes. So if you just take the time to do that, that can really help with those depressed or some anxious feelings. Going back to also simplifying, just what we talked about before, some of these overlap, but simplifying can also help with this time too. And then lastly, serving somebody else in need. I know that has helped me many times get out of a funk, okay? Or stay out of a funk, is if I can get my mind off of myself and put it on someone else. And when I can go and serve someone else in need, it helps me think about what their needs are, and many times maybe greater than my own. And so that can shift my mindset. Actually, I said last, but actually last, don't forget to keep taking your lifelong vitality supplements too, because I have seen reports even of, I have a friend that's a doctor, and she has 2 friends that literally were having depressed states, and it was a simple shift of minerals and vitamin deficiencies. And I know that seems simple, but sometimes it really can be that simple, that we are not eating well, we're not filling our bodies with nutrition and things that are fueling our body. And so sometimes even a simple shift of taking high quality vitamins like this that are whole foods that process in the body like foods, along with essential oils that are in here, can create that simple shift. For her 2 friends, it was within 24 hours, a shift of them being able to get out of bed. Okay, so don't negate or belittle the value that nutrition can have on your body. I'm
sorry.
Go ahead.
Also want to just add one other thing that I don't know where you are in your faith journey or what you might believe about God or religion, but having Bible verses, the Bible is an amazing book of hope. And so if you can have some Bible verses that you can think about, you can maybe just, again, our friend Google can help us with that. Just go
Or
Google.
contact us, and we will help you look up some Bible
We'd be
verses.
so happy to do that as well.
Yes.
But to find a Bible verse about hope, or a Bible verse about peace, and to write that down on a 3x5 card and put it somewhere where you're going to see it. Put it all around your house, and in your car, on your mirror at night. And so when you wake up, that it's on your bedside table, that just placing those verses around the house to help you, again, change your mindset in the way that you're thinking about things.
Yeah. So the last stressor we're going to talk about is staying well. I know this is, I think, probably almost everybody that I speak to, they want to, especially if they have little ones in their home. This is a huge stressor. Are we going to stay well this year? Are we going to get the flu? Are we going to stay away from XYZ that's floating around? Are we going to have good attendance at school? Whatever it is, we're trying to stay well.
And it may not, being sick may not be the kind of sick that puts you in bed, but just not feeling good when you're somewhere. So you want to be at your very best. And if you're traveling and you don't feel good, then just, there's all kinds of things that could keep you in a bad place. And so just the staying well is more than just staying not sick. It's staying well. And that's a totally different thing that we're talking about here as well.
Okay. So since I lost my notes, I like how it's blank here for helps.
You should just put a ...
Okay, so I had some tools. Let me see if I can remember these from memory. So one of the helps for this, and gosh, there's a lot of helps that we can use during this season for staying well. But one of the helps that we have in our toolbox that we use is bone broth. And some of you may be saying, "What is that?" And some of you may be saying, "Oh yeah." And that's something that you can also Google as well, or reach out to me and I can send you my Instant Pot recipe for bone broth. But it's basically, to put it in simple terms, it's what your great-grandmother used to make as her chicken stock, her chicken soup. Your great-grandmother would say, drink your chicken soup when you're not feeling well. That's not quite the same as what you would buy at the store or make in your home today. This is actually made with bones, and it's very, very helpful to not only your gut, but also provides your body with great amino acids. And so it's something that you can drink or add to your dishes and things throughout this season that will help your immune system stay strong. Another thing we do is we add vitamin D spray to our supplements. Again, you can't belittle the value that nutrition has on your body and ability to stay well. Mm-hmm. Jim mentioned earlier this On Guard hand sanitizing spray, keeping our hands clean, obviously washing our hands with On Guard. On Guard is huge in our home. The protective blend that helps support our immune system. I mentioned this earlier, the On Guard Plus soft gels that we take, especially if someone has been exposed to something, then everyone in the family is taking it to protect ourselves and to help our immune system stay strong. I know I had a couple of other tools, but I can't remember what those are.
It was on the slide.
No. Here it is. Water. You guys, I know it's simple. Where's my water? I already need to refill. Your water intake. I know, again, this seems so simple, but your water intake can really affect your body's ability to stay healthy during this time. So drink plenty of water. Keep water with you at all times. Try to keep your water in glass or stainless steel. That's much healthier for you than keeping your water in plastics. They just are, as a general rule, they're unhealthy for us. And so if you can try to stick with glass or stainless steel, they have plenty of water bottles out there now that are glass or stainless steel. That way you can keep water with you at all times. I take water with me everywhere I go. We all do, so that we are not ever without water.
Exercise.
Yes.
It's a dirty word in our house very often. But and this doesn't need to be like CrossFit exercise. This can be going for a walk. This can be stretching. This could be any number of things that just get your body moving and get your blood flowing. And I like to always say, never underestimate the value of an attainable goal. The idea being that if you set a goal to run a 10K in 2 months, then that may be just completely overwhelming. But if you set the goal to move for 5 minutes every day, that's something that you can do. And what you're going to find is that you get up and you start moving for 5 minutes. And at the end of 5 minutes, you're like, this feels pretty good. I'll go for another 5. And 20 minutes later, you finish your 5-minute walk. And so never underestimate the value of an easy and an attainable goal as something to just get yourself going. So exercise is something really important. One of Amy's favorites is we call it the rebounder. She loves to jump on a rebounder or a trampoline, just to get your lymph flowing, get it circulating.
Your lymphatic system going. Yeah, you can get when your lymphatic system is great for helping your body flush out toxins. And so if you can get that moving, your body will have a better ability to stay healthy during the holiday season. So yeah, rebounding, jumping on a trampoline or like a small rebounder, dry brushing. If you don't know what that is, check out our YouTube channel at 3 Life Essentials. And I've got a video all about how to do dry brushing. And then just getting some fresh air. I sometimes forget about the power of this, connecting with nature and getting fresh air, but I can't tell you how much that helps me when I can just get out and breathe some fresh air. You know, we spend so much time either indoors, whether it's going to an office building or in our home, and we just don't connect with nature. And so just those simple acts too can help really improve our immune system. So I know we gave you a lot of tools tonight, but what is one thing that you can take away that you can use this holiday season to really help you thrive instead of just survive?
Yeah, so we want you to really hone in on that. So again, just the idea of an attainable goal. So I want you to pick one of these things that we've talked about tonight. And maybe it was something that triggered your brain that we didn't even really talk about tonight. And I want you to write that down, and I want you to make that a goal that you're going to do, something that you're going to change. So we like to talk a lot about start, stop, continue. So what is something that you're going to start doing that you're not doing right now? What is something that you're going to stop doing that you've been doing that's not good? And then what is something that you are doing that you're going to continue? So maybe you could take this as a start, stop, continue, and you could figure out what are some things that you're going to do. What is something you're going to start doing? What's something you're going to stop doing? What's something you continue? I need some water too, apparently. What's something you're going to continue doing that's going to really aid you in the aid you in this holiday season?
Yeah, and we want to hear from you. We want to hear, these questions that we ask you are not, they're not.
It's not just for throwing it out into the air. Yeah.
We really want to hear from you. So connect with us. You can connect with us on our 3 Life Essentials Facebook brand page. You can find us on email at amy@3lifeessentials.com, jim@3lifeessentials.com. Reach out to us. We really want to hear from you. What's the one thing that you're really going to take away with you? So thank you guys for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you. And if you want to connect with us further, like I said, we're on Facebook, on our Facebook brand page at 3 Life Essentials. And you can find us on Instagram as well there. And we love connecting with and partnering with people who are just looking for some natural tools to really help them be more free in their life. So if that resonates with you, then connect with us. We'd love to reach out and just connect with you further. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Good night.